you surprised to see the groom today? From the bride and groom seat, your astonished face was in full view.
You were more than surprised. You were in total panic. What on earth is going on? Why is Tony Regina's groom? Tony was dating me just 3 months ago.
And then he started dating Emma right after they broke up. So we are going to get married.
Don't talk nonsense. The host just confidently spoke about your relationship history, didn't he? He said that you've been dating for a year now, introduced through a friend. What's this about starting to date right after breaking up? The math doesn't add up.
Oh my, you noticed?
Explain quickly what this is all about. If it's true that you've been dating for a year, as per your relationship history, does that mean you two were cheating behind my back?
Well, yes. The story of us dating a year ago is true. I'm sorry, we've been betraying you all this time.
Unbelievable. Regina is my best friend since middle school. And to think you cheated on me with my boyfriend? And even getting married?
Well, there's nothing we can do about it now. Cheer up. Let's celebrate the marriage of your best friend and your ex-boyfriend.
What?
The wedding reception is still ongoing. You'll stand out if you're the only one with the scary face, won't you? While we're changing outfits, why don't you practice your smile in front of a mirror?
Tony, what on earth is going on? Two-timing me with my best friend and even getting married? What on earth were you thinking?
Hey, don't get so mad. Any man would want to marry a beauty, right? If you're going to blame someone, blame Regina for being too beautiful.
What's with that defiant attitude? Are you trying to say you did nothing wrong? After lying to me so terribly. It's amazing you can have such a horrible attitude.
Huh? A terrible lie, you say?
Isn't that what you told me? You said your long-term business trip was decided and our relationship would become long distance. But you couldn't handle a long-distance relationship, so you asked me to break up. We had multiple discussions and decided to break up. Yet 3 months later, you're marrying my best friend. What does this mean? What happened to the long-term business trip story?
You remember something from 3 months ago very well. Well, about that business trip. Suddenly, someone else was decided to go in my place. So I didn't have to go on the business trip after all.
What?
The truth is, I was supposed to break up with Regina too. No matter how beautiful she is, I can't handle a long-distance relationship due to a long-term business trip. But unlike you, who easily chose to break up, she said she didn't want to break up, that she wanted to overcome the long-distance relationship. Then, coincidentally, the business trip got cancelled. So we decided to just get married.
It's amazing how one lie after another keeps popping up. As if all the business trip talk was a lie from the start. You just wanted to switch to your two-timing partner, Regina. If that's the case, just say it from the start.
Hey, don't just assume it was a lie. It might have been the real story.
You're really the worst, right to the very end. Even in a situation like this, you won't apologize to me.
Are you going to forgive me if I apologize? Then, it doesn't matter if I apologize or not, right?
What?
Fine, just watch quietly like the abandoned loser you are. Just gaze at the happy bride and groom from the guest seats.
Whoa! Are you still here, Emma? I thought you'd have been crying and left the venue by now.
I can't do that, can I? I agreed to give the friend representative speech without knowing anything about the groom. No matter how angry I am, I have to do what I promised.
You're still as consensuous as ever. I've always hated that about you, really, since a long time ago.
What?
You were always serious, a good girl, and had more friends than me. I've always hated you for that. Even though I was prettier, cuter, and more popular with the boys. But why do you have more friends, both boys and girls? It's ridiculous that you, a plain girl, are more popular than me, a beauty.
Wait a minute, Regina. Huh? Weren't we best friends? And you've been thinking of me like that?
I've always hated you, pretending to be best friends.
What?
You're nowhere near as cute and you're plain. But you had a lot of friends, so I just put up with being with you. As long as you're around, I could be the strongest woman, beautiful and with lots of friends. Inside, I couldn't stand being with you.
Agony, did you say? You thought of me like that? That's a lie.
Huh? If this was a lie, I wouldn't have stolen Tony. Can't you believe it, even after your fiancé has been stolen?
But we've really been good friends since middle school, haven't we? We were in the same class and even in the same club, always together. But all of that was a lie?
Sorry, but it's all a lie. I've hated you since we were in the second year of middle school.
Huh? Second year of middle school? Did I do something to hurt Regina?
Yes, you hurt me terribly. You tore me, a beauty acknowledged by everyone, to shreds.
What?
I've always remembered the anger from that time in the second year of middle school. I was the strongest, being beautiful and having many friends thanks to you. So even when I confessed to the student council president, Senior Joey, I thought I would definitely get an okay. But he rejected me. Can you believe it?
Huh? The student council president?
And he said, living a life solely dependent on your face is not good. You have a wonderful best friend, so learn from her, he preached. Why does a beauty like me have to hear that? Why do I have to learn from you? What's wrong with living a life entirely dependent on my face?
What? Wait, hold on a minute. I have nothing to do with that.
Huh?
I didn't even know you confessed to the student council president. And that senior, he said such things? His words may have been harsh, but being angry at me over it is just misplaced resentment.
Shut up, you plain girl! You're plain, so accept some resentment.
What?
Ever since then, I've hated you. I swore I'd be happier than a plain girl like you someday. Being popular is only for the time when you're a student. Once you're an adult, beauty is ultimately the strongest. But then you said you're marrying a department head from a big company. So I was pissed off and I took him away from you.
For such a reason? Because of such misplaced resentment, you took Tony away from me for such a one-sided reason.
Serves you right. If a beauty like me gets serious, all men will be crazy about me. No matter how much communication skills you have, no matter how serious a woman you are, a plain girl is a plain girl. You can't win against a true beauty.
So
After all, men prefer beauties, don't they? What's wrong with living a life dependent on your face, I wonder? I'll prove it by being happy with Tony, whom I took away from you. This world is all about face. Only beauty should be happy. It's natural for plain girls to be dumped.
I'm the one who dumped him, though.
Huh?
I don't have any love or affection for Tony anymore. I sincerely wish the two of you happiness in your marriage. But let me just say this. It's not a given that because I'm plain, I would naturally be dumped by my fiancé. In the first place, I'm the one who dumped him. So Regina, you're going to marry a man who was dumped by such a plain girl.
Huh? Don't get cocky just because you got dumped, you plain girl. You're a pitiful woman who was dumped. Don't alter your memory and pretend that you dumped him.
In the first place, when we first talked about breaking up, he brought it up because he was going to be on a long business trip and we would be in a long-distance relationship. But after discussing various things, I just got tired. I got sick of him constantly sweeping pointless lies, so I told him, that's enough, please break up with me. What do you mean a long business trip when he has a wife and children? He keeps spouting lies even though everything exposed. It's too lame.
Huh? Wait, he has a wife and children?
Tony was just terrible at letting go until the end. Even when I pressed him, saying there must be some other important reason, he kept spewing lies.
Wait, hold on a minute. What do you mean he has a wife and children? He's marrying me today. We're in the middle of our wedding right now. There's no way he could have a wife and children, right?
That's right. There's no way I can believe it when you suddenly say something like this. So I contacted his wife during the dress change.
Huh?
When I told her he's holding a wedding ceremony with this mistress, she said she'd rush right over. And she even said she'd do the speech in my place. So I'm entrusting everything to her and leaving.
What? Wait, hold on. Is it true that his wife is coming? And you're leaving at a time like this?
Well, just watching the wedding of a couple who had an affair makes me feel nauseous. If I hadn't been asked to give a speech, I would have left from the beginning.
Huh?
Well then, I wish you happiness. Please continue to enjoy the wonderful wedding.
Hey, Emma. When did you find out about my wife? I thought I had hidden it well. There's no way you could have found out.
Remember a few months ago when you came to my house drunk? You had a ring on your finger that I had never seen before.
Huh?
That day, you had been on a business trip to Florida, hadn't you? And you got drunk with the people you were doing business with and came home. That's why I thought it was suspicious and looked into your ring and the place you went on your business trip.
You investigated?
I never imagined that your wife and children were in Florida, where you went on your business trip. Wait, sorry. Your actual home is here, isn't it? You were living in Florida and met me here when you were working alone.
Well, that...
Honestly, I suspected you from the start. You always tried to change the subject unnaturally whenever the topic of marriage came up. And then, you'd come home with a ring on your finger. It's only natural that you'd be suspected and investigated.
But how did you know my wife's contact information? I heard from Regina. You invited my wife to this wedding.
That's because I exposed everything to your wife.
What?
Right after I broke up with you, I decided to contact your wife. Even though I didn't know, I had been dating a married man. I wanted to apologize and was prepared to pay compensation, so I contacted her.
What?
Your wife turns out to be very generous. She told me that I had done nothing wrong and forgave me. However, there was a condition that I had to give her all the evidence of our relationship. She forgives me, but it doesn't seem like she's ready to forgive you. That's why we exchanged contact information to cooperate in the future.
Wait a minute. What do you mean she doesn't intend to forgive me?
I don't know what your wife intends to do. I just want to do my best to apologize to her. Ah, there's a reply from your wife. She was nearby, so she's coming in a taxi.
What?
Well then, enjoy the lovely wedding. I'll be leaving now.
This is all just unbelievable. Everything is just the worst. Why do I have to go through this?
Congrats on the wedding. How was yesterday? Did the celebration go off without a hitch?
No way it did. Far from being a celebration, it was called off immediately. His wife really did storm in, and the venue was like a scene from hell.
Oh my, a celebratory event turned into hell.
After that, there was an immediate meeting with both families. I wanted to just smooth things over by playing the victim who was deceived. But thanks to his wife spilling the beans, everything went up in smoke. She told my parents that I stole Tony from you. Thanks to her, I got a punch in the face from my parents.
What? You're always smiling and kind-looking parents?
You have a lot of friends and your parents like you. My parents have always been quite fond of you. They were so angry saying, "How dare you hurt Emma?"
Uncle, Aunt, they got so angry for me.
That's not all. His wife, she said she has no intention of divorcing Tony. She arrogantly told me to give up on him while laughing.
What? His wife isn't going to divorce Tony?
She said she won't divorce him easily because they have a child. Besides, even if they divorced, it would only make us happy, so she doesn't want that. That's why she's purposely not divorcing him.
I see. Indeed, it's too simplistic to divorce just because of an affair. There is such a way of making him reflect.
That old hag is too cunning. Rather than getting a divorce and receiving child support, she thinks it's much more profitable to keep him as an ATM forever. It's so cruel that she won't divorce him even though she doesn't love Tony.
The worst one is him, who was having affairs while having a wife and child. His wife is so cool and composed that I respect her.
Don't be ridiculous. What's cool and composed about her? She's just a nasty old hag. She's older than me and ugly, but she told me to pay her damages.
What? To me?
I had no idea that Tony was married, so I shouldn't have to pay damages to his wife. But my parents got angry, saying that's not the point. They told me to pay the damages to his wife without any fuss. But his wife said I didn't have to pay her and to pay you instead. Then she said she wouldn't say anything or blame me.
Oh my, this is quite windful.
Don't be ridiculous. I thought I could become the wife of a corporate executive. I thought I could become a comfortable housewife so I didn't save any money. I can't afford to pay you damages.
Huh?
We're best friends, right? You'll forgive me even if I don't pay, right? Your parents and that wife are too overbearing. She won't even divorce him. Who does she think she is, telling me not to say anything and to listen to her? Don't mess with me, that old hag.
Hey, Regina. I am with his wife right now.
What?
So she's seeing your conversation right now. She's saying that brat is not repentant at all. She's making a scary face next to me.
What? Why? Why are you two together?
We're still arguing about the money of damages with Tony, so she called me to give her as much evidence of the affair as possible.
What?
That's a message from his wife. Indeed, Regina has no obligation to pay damages. Since it's just me saying it, you can ignore it. But if you do, I'll go all the way. I'll spread the word about Regina everywhere, she says.
Hey, stop it! Unlike Florida, where his wife is, this is a rural area. Such rumors will spread throughout the town.
It's more like hush money than damages.
So I guess I have no choice but to pay.
I'll be waiting for your payment anytime. It's up to Regina what to do, but I'll let you know my bank account later just in case. Afterwards, Regina kindly deposited $10,000 in alimony into my account. Apparently, she sold everything she had to prepare the money. Then she was disowned by her parents, and even the few friends she had invited to her wedding started cutting ties one after another, saying, "I can't deal with someone like this." And now she's trying hard in a dating venue for high-income earners, declaring, "I'll make a big comeback in life." But it seems no one is interested in her, with people saying, "Your beauty is only for now. What value do you have in the future?" As for my ex-boyfriend Tony, he went back to Florida and seems to be spending his days working as an ATM. His salary is strictly managed by his wife, and his allowance is only $100 a month. It seems he's been told that they'll get a divorce when their child turns 20.